this is how I've been saving my corn from last year. Very simple alligator clip thing. The reason I've got it here is basically to try and minimize the likelihood of it being picked at by mice or anything like that. But what I'm going to do today is get some of the kernels from here and plant them into some pots and see if I can get them started, so hopefully we can get a bit of a head start on the season. Worst case scenario, if they don't work, there's a lot of corn kernels there, so I don't really have any concern about using up more than I can spare. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay, so this corn that I've got is actually self-saved corn, as I said. That's actually from a F1 hybrid. It was self-saved last year from corn that I'd grown from the hybrid version. So this is actually like a second generation. So I had the first generation, which was grown from packet seed, F1, and then the crop that came from that is where this is from. So obviously second generation. This one was one of the best filled out ones. Some of them, they're a bit sort of patchy in the germination, things like that. But in order to do this next little part, I just need to wiggle some of these kernels loose, which is a little bit sort of tricky. The interesting thing actually is when you plant these, because of course they start off quite dehydrated. When you plant them, of course, you water them, and that's when they sort of pop up and they look basically just like they were on the cob when it first started. That's more than I need. I was planning on sort of putting about 9 or so in as a sort of starting crop, but I'll put them all in, doesn't matter. They don't take up much room in here, and it gives us a chance in case some of them don't succeed. What I did, because I actually did this last year with seeds, is I started them in here, and then once they're a decent sort of height and a decent root length, I put them out in the veggie patch, and they grew pretty well. As I said, the actual germination seemed to be a little bit patchy, or at least the development of the kernels was a little bit patchy, but that's okay. So I'm just scattering these over the top. As I said, far more than I was expecting. What I might actually do is I might grab some of those and put those directly in the veggie patch, just because they're already off the cob now, so there's no real harm in doing that. So I'll just push these in a little bit, which you probably can't see from this. I might just change that. So yeah, just sort of give them a bit of a push in. They don't need to be overly fancy or anything. I'm probably a bit more rough with these than I would be if I'd bought them in the store, because basically there was no extra cost outlay for these. It's just a case of saving one of the cobs. So that's got reasonably covered there. That's pretty good. Do the same over here. Just sort of poke those in, and then make sure those are covered as well, reasonably well. Doesn't matter too much. Okay, so they've already got a bit of water. What we'll do is we'll get our special watering bottle. This is the top of this, which I've seen plenty of YouTubers use. We actually found one when we went to the Ballarat Begonia Festival, and my son actually bought it for me, so it's quite helpful. So let's give it a quick little squidge in. And that should go. The potting mix I've got here, it's nothing fancy, like it's really just about the second cheapest, I think it is. So literally, this is the stuff here. So Garden Basics Premium Potting Mix. They do, I think, a basic potting mix. This is the premium one. It's still only about, I think, it was either $5 or $10. It wasn't overly much, but that's all it. So that's 2 lots of corn set there. As I said, I'll put these out directly in the greenhouse. Not the greenhouse, the veggie patch. We're in the greenhouse. But yeah, and probably in a week or so they'll start emerging. Give them a bit more time after that, and then I'll plant them out. Because at the moment, for the last little part of winter here, it's not too bad. But anyway, that's all from me for now. It's just a quick little one to show my little process of potting on
or growing self-saved corn. So as you can see, there's a lot more corn kernels there, so I'll hang that back up, and then if this doesn't work, I've still got this to try again. Worst case scenario, I can still get some more packet seed, but hopefully I can get some more out of this, and hopefully the second generation is better than the first, and we have better germination. We still got some good corn out of it last year, but we'll see how we go. Thanks for watching. Happy gardening.